What's up, everybody? It's Super Vega, also known as Johnny, here hanging out with the hard mode gamers once again, and I just want to recap everybody on what happened yesterday during Microsoft's incredible press conference at E3. I thought it was fascinating. I thought it was amazing. I'm a Sony fanboy, as you all know, but it was still chock full of information that was incredibly exciting for me, and I would say for anybody who is an Xbox fan. I mean, they gave us a great amount of information, a ton of games on stage. I think the number was somewhere around 40, with 22 exclusives. Exclusive was a little loose. That's something we'll talk about another time, but let's get right into it. So right out the gate, Phil Spencer, the man himself, came out and was like, yo, Xbox Project Scorpio, not the name. It's actually going to be known as the Xbox One X, the most powerful gaming console on the planet right now. And then, what did they do to show it off? The smartest thing possible. Show off super fast action. And there's no better way to go about doing that besides showing off Forza Motorsports 7. Can you believe we're at Forza Motorsport 7? Like, that is fantastic. That is fascinating. And damn, did it look good. I mean, it was mind-blowing. The new Porsche partnership is incredible. Big kudos to them. They showed off the brand new Porsche 911 right on the stage. A beautiful vehicle that you can drive in-game. And it was a great way to show off something super cool. And then they just jumped right into more games. First thing they did was show off something that I had zero expectation of actually showing up. Even though I played the last two games in the franchise, I didn't finish them. I just kind of started them, got a little into it, then life happened. But Metro Exodus was revealed, and it was revealed excellently. That game looks stunning. Looks absolutely stunning. That's expected to launch sometime in 2018. The gameplay, it was probably so far the best trailer that I've seen. Very little dialogue, all action. It just showed everything that we're gonna be doing in the game, and I thought that was absolutely incredible. I loved it. It definitely was running an engine, and that was fantastic. Assassin's Creed Origins finally officially revealed. Big theory in my opinion is they didn't want to reveal it because Microsoft wanted it to be on their stage, and I don't blame them because, that Xbox One X made this game look amazing. It looks absolutely beautiful. Like, I'm super excited to be going to explore Egypt because that is great. It really brings me back to the good old days of Prince of Persia. And I just feel like the entire setting and environment is going to be very reminiscent of that. So I'm really looking forward to diving into the new Assassin's Creed. And I mean, I am about to dive into Assassin's Creed Syndicate, which I bought like 8 months ago and just never got around to. But I was really fascinated with the London setting after playing, oh man, drawing a blank on the PlayStation game. But anyway, PlayStation game, London setting, you guys know what game I'm talking about. So looking forward to diving into that. But after watching this trailer, I absolutely have to dive into Assassin's Creed Origins. It is probably the closest thing we're going to get to a new Prince of Persia game, period. Just absolutely 100%, period. So I'm super excited about that. The next big thing that was announced was PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds will launch first on Xbox One. PlayerUnknown, for those who don't know, is a huge battleground game where it's kind of just like the ultimate battle royale, where things in real life just happen with real life people, and the battlegrounds are upwards of like 100 people. Now, this is one of those games that they coin as exclusive, even though it's a timed exclusive. However, the relevance of this type of game makes it so that it is actually an exclusive for Xbox One, because by the time it comes out on PS4, if it actually comes to PS4, it may not be as popular anymore. It may be past its time. There's little things like that can happen. So who knows where it'll go from there. Then they started showing off a bunch of other cool stuff that was exclusive to Xbox. Like Deep Rock Galactic announced as a launch exclusive. Console launch exclusive seeming to be the new title for timed exclusives, which is okay. State of Decay 2, probably the one game that has me super jealous of Xbox fans. State of Decay is probably the best zombie game to be out, have been out in the longest time. I would say since like Left 4 Dead. Remember Left 4 Dead? Left 4 Dead was a great game. I wish that would come back. But State of Decay 2 and State of Decay as a series is the closest thing we're going to get to something as phenomenal. I mean, the whole trailer feels like The Walking Dead, just watching every aspect of it. And that might be the game that pushes me to finally jump and grab an Xbox just so I can play State of Decay. Next thing that was announced, now this one wasn't very clear on whether it's completely exclusive or timed exclusive, but Black Desert Online will be coming to consoles for the first time, and it was revealed with Microsoft. So that's kind of exciting. Black Desert is a great MMO. I know a lot of people who play it. I don't play MMOs because I'm not a huge PC gamer, but every time there is one on console, I do dive in. DC Universe, Final Fantasy 14, like, you know, just you know, some basic ones. There was another one that I was playing. Man, I am not doing good at this today. This is terrible. But yeah, there's just more games that I play that I can't remember the names of. Which brings me to the next point, because this is one that you can't forget the name to, and that's Dragon Ball FighterZ. Because Dragon Ball Z Fighter would have been too easy, so they had to mix it up a little bit. That was shown off on the Microsoft stage, and it looks like a ton of fun. It reminds me of the old Budokai days, where it's more of a 2.5 dimensional game versus what Tenkaichi has become, or Xenoverse at this point. That amazing game that's been announced by Namco Bandai, or Bandai Namco for a little while, Code Vein, was shown off and announced that it will be coming to Xbox One. It wasn't saying it was exclusive, but it's really exciting to see that that game is officially coming to consoles, and we know at least one console it's coming to. This really interesting game, Last Night, is coming to Xbox One and PC. I think it's exclusive, so I'm not 100% sure, but that one is a very different and unique take on a side-scroller, and it kind of has like a Deus Ex theme feel to it, where it might be very, I don't know, there wasn't really a lot shown, but it's very futuristic. At first, I thought it was like Total Recall. That's the name of it. I was watching it and I was like, is this a Total Recall game? But it was not. It was actually just a side-scroller called The Last Night, and I think it's a pretty cool looking game. Now, everybody knows my qualm with Minecraft, but nonetheless, Minecraft is one of the hugest games to have existed, period, point blank, no debate. And it is getting cross-platform play, which means that people on Xbox will be able to play with people on PlayStation and on Nintendo Switch and on iPad and on iPhone and on any platform that you play this. It will also be available in 4K on Xbox One with a special updated super graphics pack, and I love that they called it super graphics because I'm Super Vega, and that thing was amazing. So that was probably their attempt at like getting me fully invested in it, and it might have worked a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. We finally got to see a little bit more of Sea of Thieves with a very, very, very interesting gameplay trailer that showed a lot of single player experience versus showing off a ton of multiplayer. So I thought that was pretty awesome in itself. And I'm looking forward to Sea of Thieves because I just really like playing ocean games as somebody who's like really into swimming and going to the beach and doing all that cool stuff and diving. Sea of Thieves is really up my alley as far as an interesting, dope looking game to play. So I'm looking forward to doing that. We got a release date for Cuphead, which was announced a little while back. I think it was actually announced last year, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I think it was announced last year. I'm pretty confident. Either way, got a release date, September 29th, and that is Cuphead. If you know Cuphead, you know what you're looking forward to. It's been talked about for a little while, so, you know. Then we finally got a Crackdown 3 release date, November 7th. And Crackdown 3 was introduced by none other than the most fitting person possible, the one and only Terry Crews. And rumor has it that he's actually in the game in some capacity. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out. Crackdown 3 has a very fun allure to it. You got so much stuff you can blow up, so much action. I can't wait to see what the story is driven as. And then just kind of like go from there because it just seems like a dope game. And then they just kept the release dates coming by giving us a release date for Tacoma. I don't know if you guys remember that first-person futuristic kind of game. It was like a futuristic first-person adventure game. I wouldn't call it a shooter because it seems like it's a little bit more than that. But that's going to be coming out August 2nd. So a bunch of games that are just going to be like right there for us. for people who are excited about games, like, this is the way to go. This is how you do a E3 conference, and I'm really excited about the way that they did it so far. That's not it, though. There's still a bunch more stuff that I had to write down and go through. So, new game called Ashen trailer was shown. That is like an action role-playing adventure game. Very, from what the trailer shows, very Dark Souls-y without all the graphic power behind Dark Souls. So that makes it pretty interesting. I mean, none of the characters had faces, so that was a really cool like graphic design choice, and I thought that was really interesting. But overall, it showcased a very like creepy theme, creepy feeling thing to it, which was cool. And that's gonna be revealed. They didn't give a real like. They didn't really give a date for that. It was just announced and said it's coming, which is cool. Then they had a platformer, because everybody loves platformers. I mean, for a long time we didn't have any platformers. This one is called Super Lucky's Tale. Watching it, I was kind of like, why didn't they just do Banjo-Kazooie? But at the same time, new IPs are always exciting as well. So we'll see what that ends up turning into. One of the big focuses for Microsoft conference was making sure that everybody understood the Xbox One X runs a native 4K, and almost every single game that they announced made that very clear, including Super Lucky's Tale will be running at 4K resolution. So even the cartoony stuff will be running at 4K. Ori and the Blind Forest is getting a sequel titled Ori and the Will of the Wisp. If you played Ori and the Blind Forest, another fantastic, very, very story-driven, interesting, like, platforming game. And I think I really like Microsoft's direction with the platformers and like the real interesting stuff. They're doing a lot more than what I always joke about. I always joke around saying Xbox fans just love explosions and stuff. But the reality of it is Microsoft is opening the doors to so many other people that it's really interesting, and it's really creating a diverse powerhouse of a console. Phil Spencer even said it a couple times on stage that they're building a diverse library for gamers. And based on what they announced today, he's not wrong. Not wrong at all. There is a diverse library indeed. Life is Strange is getting a 3-episode prequel titled Before the Storm, and that seems like it's going to be following all around Chloe and Rebecca's story and what was going on there. If you play the original Life is Strange, it probably brought you to tears. It damn near brought me to tears. It was a incredible introspective into life as a whole. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with Before the Storm. And then finally, they decided it was time to drop the price on us. Xbox One X will officially be available November 7th, 2017 for $499 American dollars. $100 more than a PS4 Pro. However, the power behind the Xbox One is significantly greater than a PS4 Pro. This is not marketed towards your average gamer. This is marketed towards people who truly understand the power that it takes to create the best possible games, and that is why that price tag is there. And I think it's a fair price. It's something that we should expect. People are willing to pay $700-800 for an iPad. It's something that we need to be okay with, these type of price tags for these type of devices, because that is what they do. They are powerhouses, and they are running so much at the same time. I think $499 is fair. Of course, I was hoping for $399, but $499 is definitely a fair price as far as I'm concerned. And after the price drop on us, they went and dropped a bombshell called Anthem from BioWare, and I love it. I love Anthem. I loved it after the EA press conference, and all we saw was a little teaser trailer. I love it even more because we got some gameplay for it, and I was like, what? I will definitely be playing Anthem very, very hardcore. Of course, that one was not an Xbox exclusive, but it showed up on their stage, which leads me to believe they'll have some cool stuff happening on Xbox for it. And then the very last thing, not so much the last thing, but it was one of the things that got mentioned that I'll admit I take a little bit for granted because I'm not really a nostalgic gamer in that sense, and whenever I want to play older stuff, I kind of just bust out the older system. But I understand when people can't. I also wasn't a huge original Xbox person. I was definitely more invested in the PS2. However, original Xbox titles will be available to play on Xbox One via backwards compatibility. They did not go further into that and explain whether you will need to have the disc or if that means that we're going to get an entire marketplace for it or what the game plan is there. However, that's coming and there'll be more information about that in the fall. That is crazy exciting news all around the board. Probably Microsoft's best press conference, hands down. And that is a quick recap of everything that we got to see. If you missed it, that's what they talked to us about yesterday. And I'm super excited about all this information. I can't wait to see what this Xbox One X looks like in person. I can't wait to play it and see what it really feels like. Is it different? Is it not? What are your thoughts on the price tag? Leave some information in the comments below. As always, Super Vega with Hard Mode Gamers, and E3 is just getting started.